All right, here we are again. Another beautiful day here on heaven. Let's say that building heaven here on earth. Just gonna go over a quick. I saw a very interesting post, and it's from this guy named Shannon Ryan. I'm gonna show you his profile picture. This is a guy you really should be following. He what he said here is so powerful and so misunderstood amongst the masses that hats off to you, brother. Hats off. Thanks, Brian. Thank you for introducing me to this guy. I really like the stuff he posts. So this is actually part two to, I'm doing a little series of just little clips of the reverse engineering of energy cultivation. Now let's read this off. It's really interesting. The truth about magic. So look at what Shannon says here. And this is what I've come to know. He says, any true path where one studies from mastership requires discipline and patience. If these two seeds are not present in a student, then there's nothing you can teach them. Some people come to my mentorship to learn witchcraft, voodoo, but occasionally I run across individuals who are confused about what it takes to master your craft. You have to be willing to pour time, energy, and effort into yourself. You are the instrument. The magic that is awakened exists inside the individual. Some are confused about what being a witch really is. They want to learn to nail people in coffins, sweetening jars, spiritual baths, and playing with a bunch of candles with the moon in the background. Laugh my ass off. Get away from me with that foolishness. That's Hollywood bullshit, which it is, family. Ain't no magic in those damn candles and oils. Please wake the fuck up. The magic is in the witch, the alchemist, nothing else. Every witch, voodoo priestess, priest, witch doctor, conjurer, or whatever you may call yourselves, has invested countless of hours, days, months, years, and lifetimes powering themselves up, sitting in meditation for hours at a time, feeding mental attention to different parts of their souls, flowering themselves out into divinity by communion with spirits, embodying celestial divinities, chanting countless tones and mantras for hours and days at a time. A real witch puts the magic in themselves. This is what you pay us for. If a person has real power, why would they need to light a candle for your ass? Magnetic Kundalini. That's so, let me tell you, this is so real, okay? And connected to what you just watched in part one and maybe my session one of the university, right? Because that's free. The other sessions are paid. You pay for it. But remember, you power yourself up in meditation. Remember, we spoke about that. You bring in this subtle energy, and what's obvious is always powered by the subtle. We spoke about what power actually is. It's gentle, it's quiet, you can't really see it. You could feel it though. So notice he says here that they power themselves up and they sit in meditation, okay, for hours and lifetimes and lifetimes. So family, for example, in a previous incarnation, if you were like a monk or you held in your seed, the previous works that you did is still carried over into the next vessel. You see, so there's no such thing as being born with gifts and having a head start of everyone else. Everything in life deals with what should I say? Deals with, just like when you go on a job, you don't just start off getting paid well. You got to work your way up. You got to learn the trade. You got to make the mistakes. You got to stay consistent in that practice. If you're jumping all over the place, right, you're not going to really master that craft. So it's the same when it comes to these supernatural abilities that you see these yogis have and that you could actually start to develop. And I'm actually starting to see a few things myself, although it works very mysterious, because right now I'm trying to get past old programs. Okay, I'm more like a yogi in training. But what I'm doing is, look at me. I'm just your brother, just passing on knowledge. I've been around yogis. I've been around breatharians. So, I'm just going to pass on the things that I know, the things that I've seen, and the things that I practice every day. So I do practice this. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not something that I read in a book only. Like, I just came off a 1-hour meditation, and I said, you know what? That quote came back to me. Let me at least put this out there, right? Now what I'm going to show here is, it's pretty interesting. We look back at Dragon Ball Z, and this is, I tell you, I kid you not, this is what I felt, okay, when the other day, this was about 2 weeks ago. This is Goku. Now, you remember in one episode with Goku, all he did for and this was back in the day. This is when Dragon Ball Z was on TNT. We couldn't pull up. We didn't have Netflix. We barely had internet. Okay. So you had to wait every week. Okay. And all Goku did was just power himself up. Just that's all he did for. I mean, it was getting annoying, but he was preparing himself. That's what he was doing. And the Super Saiyan, you see, when the hair gets light and yellow, there's masters. When you look at their hair, it's very white. Okay, it's not. There's some people that say that because when you have gray hair, it's toxicity. Yeah, that's for I guess majority of people. But if you see someone with like a baby face, they ain't got much wrinkles, they look pretty healthy and vibrant, and they do a lot of these practices, their hair will start to like almost be white, because that's all the chi energy that they cultivated in like the Super Saiyan, right? Like very light in color. Okay, and that's why elders have gray hair, because they radiated more. If you watch some Elatom classes, he actually kind of breaks that down very well. They become very radiated, so they actually have more energy. Really, the older you get, the stronger you're supposed to become, the wiser when it comes to energy management. But they got it all backwards. See, you're supposed to feel better at 30 than 20. You're supposed to feel better at 40 than 20, because you're wiser, okay? You have to learn that the universe is your best friend, and it wants to power you up. But we think that we're just this isolated agent away from these laws, and we're trying to do it on our own. That's the problem. You're trying to do things on your own. There is no separation. So you could see Goku is powering himself up. And this anime, all of these are principles that exist within you. You see? So it gets really interesting when, again, if you look at his aura right here, let me play it back. That's what I felt about a week ago. But the thing is, it was very deep, because the day before I fasted, the next day, I ate like 2 meals, 2 pretty big meals. I felt pretty dense. And I said, you know what, I'm still going to meditate. So I meditated for an hour and a half, or I cultivated. And I had the biggest, most grandest experience when it comes to what they call this Kundalini energy. It blew my mind, and this is after what, 1.5 years of me being consistent on it. And it was all over. I felt this rush, like this cloud, like it was like a mist of energy coming into my head right here. And I felt it coming up the spine. And all of this was radiated. All of this was radiated. And I've had that moment where I was leaving the body, but I'm not really that, I'm not that experienced when it comes to leaving the body at will like that. I did have lucid dreams. I did speak to maybe you could call them spiritual guides. I even got books. There were certain books that I bought because of lucid dreams, and I would come back on certain topics I had to study. So I did experience that. But this was the first time when I was fully awake, experiencing this supernatural energy so strong. So what I'm saying is, when you stay consistent, and let's go back. Okay? Let's go back to this. Like what Shannon said here. If you stay consistent, what's small, okay, starts to grow, starts to get bigger, becomes it's very subtle for the first year, right? Very subtle. And over time, it starts to grow, and you could meditate and boom, I don't even regulate my breath. You breathe and you immediately just feel that connection. You know, whether I'm laying down, sitting up, doing a standing Qigong meditation, I feel it all the time. At first, I didn't feel it right away. I felt a bit of it. But family, what this quote is saying to you here, there's a lot of people that think, oh, I could just buy these crystals. Not talking down as if you can't charge up crystals and, you know, get a little something out of it. But I can be real. It ain't shit, man. It ain't shit until you learn really how to power yourself. Or should I say, your greatest tool, which is a crystal, the body, the blood is liquid crystals. Most of this is crystals that's internal in here. Okay? So you could charge this up, the harmonics of the blood, and you could start to see some very interesting experiences in your life. Okay? And I do the most simple meditations. And, you know, so just think about that for a sec. When you see people trying to sell you stuff and saying, oh, this will protect you, this will understand, man, you have everything you need. But first, you have to be aware that you are not your mind, neither are you the body. You are the power, what I should say, the forces that power the mind and power the body. That's what you are, right? Salute.